This is AM 1220, KTLV, Midwest City, Oklahoma City.
The following is a paid program. The views and opinions expressed or products endorsed are not necessarily those of KTLV, its staff, or management.
Good morning, Oklahoma City, and it's time now for the Clara Luper Show. And now your good morning hostess, the Oklahoma City's own Miss Clara Luper.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a happy good morning to you wherever you are. This is a Clara Luper radio show, and today's show is being brought to you by your favorite independent Allstate insurance agent, Marilyn Hildred. If you're talking about insurance, please talk to Marilyn. You have made her number one. You have done it because you've gone to 730 Northwest Britain Road and you have taken out your insurance with her. Marilyn Hildred, your Allstate insurance agent. Today's program is a very special program, and certainly I would like to thank all of you for listening. I would like to thank all of you for visiting with me, and especially to a friend of mine in Shawnee, Oklahoma, I would just like to say thanks. Last week I told you about gumbo and catfish, and some of you have called me and said, Clara, you just talk too much about, and you brag too much about your catfish and your gumbo. Why don't, and I would like to ask you a question, why don't you call Dillard's and ask them why do they advertise every day in the newspaper? Why don't you call Bob Moore and ask him why does he advertise? Now let me tell you something. If you think that I'm going to stop talking about Maryland's gumbo and CP's catfish, you're dreaming. I have to advertise like my great-great-great-grandparents through the grapevine because I do not have the money to advertise on television and radio, but I have you. And hundreds of you have come out to the state fair. You have walked and walked looking for CP's catfish and Maryland's gumbo, and you have come out there and you have said to us, this catfish is the most delicious catfish that I have ever eaten. You have said that Maryland's gumbo is a bit of Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Texas, and Oklahoma, and you have eaten it. Long lines, standing in line for CP's catfish. I like to hear CP tell the story about his catfish. I like to hear him talk about his mother and how she taught him how to fry catfish. It's a little of this in it and a little of that. But mostly it's that I can't tell you because I don't know his secret. But those of you that are visiting the fair today, I want you to go to CP's Cafe. I want you to take a seat. I want you to order you a catfish sandwich or a catfish dinner. I want you to order some of Maryland's gumbo. And I would like to say you will be back. A gentleman who had been back for 5 years yesterday came by and he said, oh, Clara, this is the best catfish that I have ever eaten, and my wife got to have the gumbo. And I said, well, I knew you would come back because I would like to quote to you from General MacArthur, I shall return. And if you come out there and eat some of that catfish, eat some gumbo, you will return. Now, at the fair, when you come out, remember we are on the north side of the Travel and Transportation Building. And that means that when you look up and you see the bungee jump, then you come right down from the bungee jump and you cannot miss CP's catfish. Now the first one that goes out today and say, I heard it on the Clara Luper radio show, I would like for you to be my guest for a catfish dinner. Free. Now the dinners are $6.50, the sandwiches are $4, and all that delicious gumbo is only $5. If you notice at the fair, all of the drinks are the same because that's the price that the state fair put on us. Small drinks are $1. Large drinks are $1.50. So don't come to our booth fussing about the prices. Go to the state fair board or go to the office and fuss. You know, it's one thing about some people. They can talk that talk, but they don't know how to walk that walk. Now, to walk the walk, you've got to understand that when you're at the State Fair board, and that's carried on by its executive director, Mr. Pierce, will tell you what you can sell, what you cannot, and also you have to keep a record of everything that you sell. That's policy. I'm going to talk about CP's catfish and Merlin's gumbo, and I want you to join me in talking about it. See what's happening up to Tabernacle Baptist Church tonight. I wish someone would call and tell me, because I'll tell it, and when I tell you what's happening up there, I know you will be ever so grateful to me. Speaking of being grateful, Mr. Robert Gates is so grateful to all of you. He's grateful because he has been your barber for a long time, along with his co-worker, Mr. Gamble. Gates Barbershop, located at 2609 North Martin Luther King Avenue. It has a traditional, beautiful tropical setting. The flowers are beautiful. The hospitality is unbelievable. But that barber has been able to remain number one because of the skills. He can design any kind of haircut that you want. All at Gates Barbershop, 2609 North Martin Luther King Avenue. Dr. A.L. Dow is ready now. And you need to call him too. Let me give you that telephone number, 2350536. Dr. A.L. Dow at 934 Northeast 8th Street in Oklahoma City. Telephone number 2350536. Now, if you just think that your child is having some trouble with his lessons, maybe it's because of his eyes or her eyes. So call Dr. Dow, 2350536. Located at 934 Northeast 8th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. You know, you need somebody to take care of you. You need someone to be concerned about you. You need someone that will care for you during the long nights or the dark days. And that's why I would recommend Passion Home Health Care Incorporated. Located at 3838 Northwest 36th Street. The telephone number is 943-5779. Now, what's so unusual about Passion Home Healthcare Incorporated? It's the patience. It's the understanding. It's the knowledge of what to do. Don't take my word for it. I heard Mrs. Lady Ruth Hunter talk about Passion Home Healthcare, and how concerned and how caring they were during the dark moments in her life. I heard her say, Clara, Passion Home Health Care has come into my home. They've taken care of my husband. They have ministered to our needs. They also have another program that's unusual. It's Give Me a Free Hand. Give Me a Free Hand simply means that you don't have to worry about going shopping. You don't have to worry about somebody mugging you. You may call 946-8928 and become a beneficiary of this service. Passion Home Health Care, then, located at 3838 in Northwest 36. And the owner, Mrs. Deborah Jackson, would just like to say thanks to all. You know, we are in a lot of competition. This is a competitive world. We have to compete. And until we realize that I cannot go any further than you can, and you cannot go any further than I can, we are going to unite as a people, and we are going to help each other. I had somebody come by CP's Catfish and say, Clara, I'm praying for you. I said, good, pray for me, but buy a Coke for me as you pray. And she walked on off. She walked on off. This is the Clara Luper radio show. And this is going to be a very special show today. It's special because it's being made possible by Johnson Sardina's Daycare Center, located at 1643 Northeast 50th Street. The telephone number is 424-4656. Johnson Sardina's Daycare, 1643 Northeast 50th Street, ready to minister to the needs of your children. Now, they have some unique programs. Computers. Can you imagine a child learning some computer skills during a daycare session? Can you imagine children being taught in art? Can you imagine? Well, you don't have to imagine. Imagine it. All you have to do is to go to Johnson Dina's Daycare, 1643 Northeast 50th Street here in Oklahoma City. The telephone number is 424-4656. It is true that there is a daycare center. I call it Johnson Dina's Daycare number 2, located at 2611 North Martin Luther King. The telephone number is 427-5274, and they are open late. So if you work and you want a safe place to keep your children, call Mrs. Gloria Matthews, 427-5274. Someone has called me and asked me what was I going to say about Women's Day at Fifth Street Baptist Church. What can I say? I can say to you that at Women's Day at Fifth Street Baptist Church was last Sunday. You supported it with all you had, and we are very grateful. And now on behalf of the pastor, Reverend Elkins, on behalf of the chair, people of all of the committees, I would just like to say thanks to each one of you. It was unbelievable because you were there. You were part of it. Reverend Jamal Bright came to us from Duke University, and he made a statement that was quite unusual. He said O.J. did it, and certainly he had the attention of the whole church. He went on to say that when you commit a crime, you need a witness, and O.J. had a witness. The witness was the sun. The sun stood still. The moon ran down in blood. He said that the dead got up and walked, and he said that O.J. did it. O.J. went in the grave, and on the third day, he rose from the grave in order to save somebody like me. But he wasn't talking about O.J. Simpson. He was talking about only Jesus. Only Jesus. The O.J. that Reverend Bryant was telling the women, the men about, was only Jesus did it. And then that brings us to our subject today, and I want to take a poll today to see what you think in the O.J. Simpson case. You know, we are, as black people, we still face some crisis. We've been able to survive over 200 years of slavery. We survived. We were able to survive years of legalized segregation. We survived. And we have been able to survive a sophisticated type of oppression. Let me give you an example. During the bombing, you remember how the eyes of the world were on Oklahoma City. You remember how on the main program, how blacks were neglected. Well, the governor of Oklahoma went on a thank you trip. I called because I was very concerned about whether or not any blacks were represented on that thank you trip. I talked to some people in the governor's office, and they kept shifting me from representative or from a staff member to a staff member. I think I talked to John Cox, Rick Buchanan. I tried to get to Dan Mahoney and all of those. I wanted to know how many blacks were selected to go on the thank you trip. And I want to know that. And maybe some of you state elected officials will tell me. Because it seems to me that if the governor of the state of Oklahoma was going on a thank you trip throughout America, he would have taken some black representatives. Now let me tell you the information they gave me. It was a governor and his wife. It was a mayor of his wife and a few other friends that went. There was a representative from the city council, but I thought we had a black representative. But I want to know, and I would like for you to call me and let me know how many blacks did the governor of the state of Oklahoma, a governor that held his hand up and said he's going to be a governor for all the people, how many blacks did he take on this thank you tour? Did he take our state senator, one of our representatives. I want to know from you. If you have that information, call me immediately at KTLV Radio in Oklahoma City. Call me so I can know, because my telephone number is 672-1220. Now, a lot of you worked for the governor. You went out and you told us what all the governor was going to do, but I want to know if he took you to New York with him, to Phoenix, wherever he went to thank people, was that one representative from the black community. Now, one thing that I feel, now this is my opinion, that black people are going to have to learn how to stand up for their own rights. Because Ralph Ellison wrote The Invisible Man. A lot of times people do not see us. And many blacks go around with their heads in the sand and don't talk about one another. But we are not only going to talk about black folks and their contributions, we're going to write about what they're going to do. Langston Hughes put it this way: someday somebody's going to talk about me. Someday somebody's going to write about me. I guess it will be me myself. Well, those of you out in radio land, you know you've been with me for years. You have helped us to pay for Freedom Center. You have helped us to pay for one of the monuments. You have helped us get bricks in order that we could brick Freedom Center. You are bringing paper, newspapers, and aluminum cans, and you are putting it in that big trailer at Freedom Center. And now I would like to read this just for you. There will be a Black History Memorial Wall, honor of Cheryl Fowler, and the names of the 169 victims of the Oklahoma City bombing will be at Freedom Center. There will be an inscription on the south wall of Freedom Center that will consist of A.M. Hamlin, Ed Goodwin, William Hunter, Dr. G.E. Finley, Attorney Amos T. Hall, Emily Freeman, Clara McFall, Judge McDonald, Bishop Alonzo Ponder, Reverend John Reed, Mrs. M.L. Sanders, Jake Simmons, Freddie Mae Stevens, Blanche and Tom Norman. Let the story be told of these Americans. If we don't tell that story, who's going to tell it with us? Who's going to tell it for us? Who's going to talk about us? Who's going to talk about the contributions that these people have made, which is a symbol of what is happening around us? Did you know that A.M. Hamlin was the first black elected to the House of Representatives? If you didn't know it, you know it now. And black people and white people must teach their children about what all people in America have done. I'm inviting you to a Black History Dedication and Memorial Wall luncheon at 12 o'clock on October the 21st at the Trade Winds Central Inn, located at 1800 East Reno. That luncheon will be at 12 o'clock. Miss Gwendolyn Fuller, who is was president of the NACP Youth Council during the Sit-In Movement, will be the guest speaker. Then I invite you to join us in a carcade to Freedom Center, where at 3 o'clock we will unveil the pictures of A.M. Hamlin, Ed Goodwin, William Hunter, Dr. G.E. Finley, Attorney Amos T. Hall, Emily Freeman, Clara McFall, Judge McDonald, Blanche and Tom Norman, Freddie Mae Stevens, Jake Simmons, M.L. Sanders, Reverend John Reed, and Bishop Alonzo Ponder. Now, many of you know that we already have 100 names on the monument. You are passing by Freedom and you are seeing the plaques that we are putting on the wall. And someone asked me, why haven't you finished the plaques? We will finish the plaques when you help us. I would hate to be black or white in Oklahoma City and have not done my best to try to perpetuate the history of black people. And I have asked you to do your part, because I'm going to do mine, and I'm not going to ask you to do any more than I'm going to do. I've got to finish that job, and it has to be finished by before October the 21st. Now, if you have any relations with any of the people that I have called, we need your support. It's no use of waiting until people die and say, oh, I love you, I want to support you, but the time to support is now. If each one of you out there would contribute $1, we could finish the job. Well, this is Clara Luper, and today's program is being brought to you by CP's Catfish and Maryland's Gumbo. You have the opportunity to go out to the fair, and when you go out there, I want you to visit CP's Catfish and Maryland's Gumbo. We want your support. Clara, you're always pushing something. Well, one thing about Clara Luper is that you are the one that's important and not Clara Luper. And you know so much. Why didn't your governor take you on a thank you trip? Edie? I don't know. Now, I'm not saying what I know because I want to make it clear. He might have taken some of you big shot, sophisticated, educated blacks with him on this thank you trip. Well, I just want to know how many of you went along. That is really interesting to me. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show. Hello? Hello? I want to make sure that I'm talking to you. I want to make sure that I'm talking to you. Hello? If I missed you, call me back. Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Hi, Miss Luper.
Yes, I can't hear you well.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to call in. I was so excited about the monuments and also recognizing the victims that were in the bombing. And I would like to support your luncheon. And I want to buy a ticket. Even though I'm out of town, I want to buy a ticket and then allow you possibly to donate it to a young person or whomever who want to go and possibly can't go. Then also, I want to donate to the completion of your wall.
Oh, that is just wonderful. Would you mind telling me your name?
No problem, Mrs. Luper. This is Audrey Howard Harris.
Oh, Mrs. Harris, isn't that wonderful? Well, I tell you, you just make out your check to Freedom Center. Send it to Post Office Box 11106, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
11106?
Yes, and that zip is 73111.
Very good. And I want to challenge all the other, community leaders and just the community at large, Sister Luper, to get behind you and support you, and you're doing a great job. And often we don't stop long enough to tell people that. So I was listening to you this morning. I'm on my way to Lawton, but I had to call in and let you know how much we appreciate you.
Well, thank you so very, very kindly. Have you seen the Black History Monument?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Well, you haven't seen anything until you see that south side with those pictures on it, and to go around that wall and read your history. Thank you so much, Mrs. Harris.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and certainly I want you to be proud. And I would like to thank those of you that have brought your children up to Freedom Center. And there's no use of any child in Oklahoma City going to school without having some knowledge of black history. Now, if you notice on the wall, there are many whites on the wall because black history is nothing but white history. And white history is a reflection of black history, and black history is a reflection of white history. It's no secret that more books have been written on the Civil War than any other war in the history of this country. Once again, this is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and I know you are anxious to hear from Calvin. And it's quite interesting how many people have come out to CP's Cafe and say, I just want to see Calvin. And they have taken his autograph, and he's just all smiles. And he's talking that talk. Go, Calvin, go. The Black History Dedication and Memorial Wall Luncheon will be on October 21st at Trade Winds Central Inn at exactly 12 o'clock. There will be a carcade from there to Freedom Center, 2609 North Martin Luther King, and there the wall will be unveiled. We have not raised enough money to complete the walls, but it would be a reflection on Oklahoma City if we didn't complete the wall. This is Clara Luper, and I'm anxious to talk to you today. Hello?
Good morning, Mrs. Luper. How are you today?
Oh, I'm happy today.
Well, I'm glad to know that you are happy because the sun is shining today.
Oh, yes.
And I know you are happy. But I'm calling not only to say hello to you and the radio audience, but to also tell you that on last Sunday afternoon that you had a wonderful program. It was a beautiful and enlightening program, an intellectual program from the beginning to the end. And you did have a full house. And I didn't believe that you were going to have that center section full of ladies in white. But they were there, all in white. That was a program that we really should have seen on a television show. It should have been televised to let the people see what wonderful program, Women's Day program, that you had at Fifth Street Church on my Sunday afternoon. And I want to say congratulations to you for working with so many, many, many people. And I know that they were happy because it was a beautiful program, and I know they were happy to have been a part of the committee and to present such a wonderful program. And everyone was really, really good.
I'm really proud of that, Letty. The ladies had set their spiritual goal, and certainly the fellowship, the love that was demonstrated, the understanding, and the participation were unbelievable. They also set a financial goal of $21,100.
And I was surprised that in such a short time.
It started on August the 1st.
Right. That you really were able to accomplish the kind of goal that you accomplished.
Well, they raised the women at Fifth Street Baptist Church on Women's Day, according to Mrs. Jennifer Graham, who was chairperson of the financial committee, gave me this figure that women raised $22,170 for that Women's Day program. And they started on the program on August 1st.
Oh, that is wonderful. Just August the 1st. Isn't such a short time. We can do, if we really get out there and work and want to do, we can do. I know we are going to do equally as well when we come to the affair. Did you tell the audience about the luncheon?
Yeah, that Black History Dedication and Memorial Wall luncheon. And people are calling me, and they want to know why all of these people are on this wall. They didn't realize the contribution that Mr. Hunter had made. They didn't realize that he was the first black elected to the board of directors of Tinkerfield's Credit Union and became the chairperson of that committee.
You know, there are so many blacks who've done so many things for the Freedom Center that we do not know about. You know, and then we do not read about them because why? No one tells us about them. And there are so many people that have done great things that we don't know about because we don't have a chance to read about them. This is Mrs. Luper on radio program. So these are those kind of unsung heroes that we are putting on that wall. Because we want them to know that it wasn't the presidents of the United States. It wasn't just the congressmen. It wasn't the legislators that made America. There were a lot of little people. Like the program that you had Sunday. It wasn't all of the top officials. It was the little people that helped make the program a success. So it was the little people that helped make America what it is. And it was the little people that has helped make Oklahoma City what it is. And it's going to continue to take the little people to continue to make Oklahoma City the kind of city that we want it to be. The kind of person.
Well, let me ask you this.
You want to say hello to a little bitty boy.
Hello?
Say hello.
Hello. Thank you so much. Letty, did the governor of Oklahoma invite you to go on and thank you too?
Did you hear him say hello, Miss Luper?
Yes, I heard him say hello, but I want to ask you, did the governor of Oklahoma ask you to go on and thank you tour?
Oh, well, you know, the governor didn't ask me to go on no thank you tour, Miss Luper. This is why I'm telling you. It's the little people who has really made America. You know, I was reading in the paper where the man was dead and gone and off the scene. And somewhere God opened the heart of the president and said, although this has happened and although the years has passed, this man was due this honor, and I'm not going to let it die in my hand. And he called the family in to give the man the recognition. Who knew about him? I did not. So this is what I'm talking about. It's the little black man.
O.J. Simpson's jury, would you rule that he was guilty or not guilty? Now, let me give you my opinion first. And you have called me and said, Clara, why haven't you been talking about the O.J.'s case? I want to hear all the evidence. Well, if I were on that jury, I would say not guilty. That would be my verdict, not guilty. I want to see what yours would be. The telephone number here is 672-1220. Not guilty, because in first place, how you can convict a man with a police officer who has admitted that he doesn't tell the truth, that he doesn't like certain people, and you're going to believe that he found the bloody glove, and if he found the bloody... Oh, I don't know anything about killing people, but I know down in Hoffman, when we killed the hog, there was always a lot of blood. And if O.J. Simpson could kill two people and then wipe up the blood and then get dressed in a period of an hour, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Well, that's what I believe. I do not believe that O.J. Simpson is guilty of killing his wife and a friend. I don't believe it. Now, how do you feel? And I noticed on television this morning they had a survey, and they asked all whites, what do you believe? Every one of those whites say they believe that O.J. killed his wife, and they say that. Now, listen how silly that is. We don't kill like that. We have a different method that we use in killing. Well, I don't believe it. And are you scared to say that? Or do you have the courage? But I'm telling you one thing. I sure don't believe that O.J. should be found guilty. I think they should turn him loose because they haven't produced a weapon. They haven't produced a weapon. They haven't produced the facts that are necessary to convict someone of murder. And America and the world is now looking to Los Angeles for justice. What will come out of it? And I believe that they will come out with a hung jury and O.J. will go free. Now, what do you believe? Are you scared to say it? Are you... Oh, well. Anyway, this is a Clara Luper radio show, and today I'm talking about Catfish and Gumbo. I'm talking about that big musical that will be at 6 o'clock tonight at Tabernacle Baptist Church, and I do hope that someone will call me and tell me more about it, because I want to know more about that musical at Tabernacle Baptist Church tonight at 6 p.m. Now, I do have the time, I do have the place, but I just need more information. This is Clara Luper, and I want to talk to you. And I'm waiting on Calvin. I'm sure Calvin's so busy selling catfish that he hadn't had time to call his own mother. What a shame. Hello? Hello?
Miss Luper?
Yes?
This is Miss Moore, and I'm calling about O.J. Simpson.
Yes?
It was proven that he wasn't guilty in the very first. He's not guilty because in the first starting of the trial, when this man was walking his dog, and this pale dog come up to him, it was a police car trolling in that area at that time. And they told this guy to take the dog home, and they would call the pound so he could put him in there that morning. Now, this was about 11 o'clock. It was a police troll car in the area. But see, they wouldn't let them bring that out. And another thing, they wouldn't let Cochran play but 2 tapes. And this old judge sitting up there, he blocked out all these tapes because this Furman was talking about his wife. And then this old Marcia Clara, she threatened him that if they couldn't take out part of them tapes, that he would have to step down and let another judge do the, career over there.
So you're with me, and now we are running. You're with me. I do not believe he was guilty, and thank you so very kindly for calling me.
Okay, then.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and today's show is being brought to you by Passion Home Health Care, located at 3838 Northwest 36 in Oklahoma City. The telephone number is 943-5779. Hello?
Good morning, Mother. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine this morning.
Good, good. I'm on my way out this morning to go to the fair, so I'll go by that great shellfish shop where I can get me some fish, but that's not why I'm calling you. First, I want to call you and thank you for allowing us to advertise last week about our meeting we had, too. We had an excellent turnout, and I'd just like to report to the community that we are still very concerned about the school bond issue and all of the conditions of the school bond issue, that they are followed to the letter of the law by the school board. And on Monday evening at 6 o'clock, we're asking that all of Oklahoma City patrons that are interested in that school bond and their schools and or even the principals, etc., to meet us at the Oklahoma City School Board meeting. There's a special meeting this Monday. And we just wanted to let the community know.
Oh, that's at 900 North Klein?
That's at 900 North Klein.
And you're going to talk about that bond meeting in those air-conditioned schools?
Yes, indeed. And we just need the community to be there. We need them there in numbers. We're asking all the ministerial alliances to announce it in their churches. I had an opportunity to visit with the BMA Monday, and they have agreed that it is certainly of interest to all of us, all of those that have young people and those that work with young people, even those that just pay taxes. So we're just reminding the community that we need them there.
Now, Mr. Payne, you're a leader in this community. Did the governor invite you to go on that thank you tour?
No, ma'am. He didn't.
How many blacks went on that tour?
Not any. And let me say this in reference to that, because it is very important. I share your same concerns. I have a meeting set up next Thursday with the governor and the staff, and we are seeming to be more and more excluded from a lot of conditions that are going on throughout this state, specifically around the bombing. And so after the same thing that you stated earlier, because of the 55 African Americans that were murdered in that brutal attack bomb, and there were only 169 persons total, which averages about 31.5 or 6% of those that were murdered were African Americans. So I stated that to his staff, and they agreed that it is time that either they do something to include us, or mother, we're going to have to make ourselves more visible as we move forward, because again, this is our state. Governor Keating is the chief executive officer, i.e. the governor, and we want that same respect and responsibility that all other citizens of this great state have. So after Thursday's meeting, I would like to come and talk about the meeting.
Okay, well, I sure would like to go to that meeting. I'd like to look at Governor Keaton and ask him myself. Now, so many people carry the wrong information, and I had white gentleman to come up to me and say that they had a group of blacks that say they didn't want to meet with Clara Luper because I'm too radical.
Well, let me say this, Mother, in reference to yourself and Governor Keating. You know, and the community know about you and your role in my life and how you worked with us and when I was a little boy at Dundee, but more specifically how you work with this great state and this great country. Governor Keating, I want to say this to the public, so the community that listens to the Clara Luper show will hear my concern.
You better hurry up and give it to me, because I had somebody else's waiting.
I'm going to be real brief. It is time that Governor Keating allow community-interested persons that are African Americans to have some dialogue about the direction and the future of this state. And I believe this is the time. He's made himself amenable, and I believe sometimes it's about misinformation and not so much about insensitivity. So it's our responsibility to go to the governor and his staff to make them more aware of those.
Well, I think the governor and his staff should also come to us.
I agree with that.
I think, though, and we have representatives out there, and I would like to hear from them. Are they telling the governor that we are here, and we are here to stay?
Well, I agree. And again, we will, with your permission, next Saturday, I'd like to report back to the community as to where we are within the governor's mentality and future.
Well, I'm not going to deal with his mentality now.
Well, I have to.
Well, you have to, but I don't. Because in first place, everybody knows that black people are here.
Right.
We were at Pearl Harbor. We were with Eisenhower.
Right.
We have won our place in history. I've got to let you go. Are you coming out to get some catfish?
I'll be there today.
If you were on the jury with O.J. Simpson, what would your vote be today?
I haven't had enough information.
Oh, you have the information. Bye.
I do not. I thank you, but anyway, no comment.
No comment. No, wait a minute. I want to ask you, do you think he's guilty or not guilty? Okay.
Well, I don't have enough time to explain my...
Yeah, I didn't ask you to explain. I just asked you, do you think he's guilty? Well, anyway, let me tell you, I do not think he's guilty, and I don't care who's hearing me out there in radio
land. You heard all the evidence, Mom.
Well, I have heard all the evidence.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll see you today.
And he said, well, I've been listening to evidence. Oh, what evidence? Well, if I had been on that, I would have asked that dog to come in and testify. If that dog had come in and testified, it would have been different. Okay, thank you. It's very kind. Okay, now how many of you are afraid to take a stand? Well, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid because I'm from Hoffman, Oklahoma. Hoffman, Oklahoma. Well, we are going to inscribe on the south wall some of our famous Oklahomans. Blanchard, Tom Norman, Freddie Mae Stevens, Jake Simmons, M.L. Sanders, Reverend John Reed, Bishop Alonzo Ponder, A.M. Hamlin, Ed Goodwin, William Hunter, Dr. G.E. Finley, Attorney Amos T. Hall, Emily Freeman, Clara McFall, Judge McDonald. And then we're going to have this memorial wall. Cheryl Fowler's picture will be in the center of it. That will be the names of 169 victims. This is Clara Luper. Hello? Hello?
How you doing this beautiful morning?
Calvin, I've been waiting on you. What have you been doing?
You're doing the right thing, waiting on me, because when I got here to the booth here at the State Fair, CP's Catfish Cafe, there were about 5 or 6 people waiting on me, too. So don't feel bad. But I wanted to call because I have some very busy people here. We're getting ready for what we know will be a history-making crowd today. So I'm just going to introduce them right quick. And everybody's saying, no, except that, except that, next door we have the old-time photos. And, the young lady that...
Is Ruth there?
Ruth is here, but somebody bigger and better than Ruth. The mother of the mothers of old time photo is here, and somehow or other, she came out of the photo shop, and she's been avoiding us for 2 years now.
Do you have her on the line?
Show. But this is the young lady that makes the pictures possible. She's the one that takes the pictures. She's the one that processes the pictures. And Walt and Ruth Ann, and Ruth Ann's daughter's down from Colorado, and one of her friends is down from Colorado. And we're just getting ready to have a good time. So I'm going to just drop the phone right to her right quick, Mom. And then you come back to me because there's so much I want to tell our listening audience here in Oklahoma City, because we are at the great Oklahoma State Fair, and it is the best fair in the nation. And we are at the best booth at the fair. But then I have to say that because it is the truth. But next to us is that old-time photos, and across from us, Rising Waters. The young people from the Stereo Connection will be coming over shortly. But here you are, a young lady that you love dearly, that we've all grown to love dearly, the grandmother of grandmothers, the mother of mothers, and and more important than that, Walt's wife and the backbone of old-time photos. Here you go, Auntie.
I know you're happy to be back in Oklahoma for your 5th year.
Hello there, Clara.
Well, hello, and how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Boy, Calvin made me sound really good, didn't he?
Well, you always sound good, and you look good. You look good because you've been enjoying catfish. No, you all love the French fries. Tell the people, would you invite the people to come out today to see you?
I sure would. We thought it was going to rain today, but it's not. The weather is real nice out here today. It's nice and cool. There's a slight breeze, and it feels so good. And everybody should come to the fair today. There's only 2 more days left, and we ought to have just a huge crowd today.
Okay, so you want them to come out and take some old-timers photos, right?
Oh, yes, I do. They can dress up in all sorts of costumes. We have saloon girl costumes, Annie Oakley, and Indian costumes, gangster costumes, Pancho Villa, Civil War, Mountain Man.
Do you have any African-American costumes?
What, Clara?
African costumes.
I don't know if I have any.
Well, you go find one because I'm all African.
I know you are. And we take a lot of pictures of African people.
Okay. Well, you find one because I'll be out there and I want to be looking good. Clara Luper, Black American from Hoffman, Oklahoma. Calvin?
Okay, Clara.
Well, thank you so very kindly for being my guest today.
Well, glad to do so. Here's Calvin.
Okay, Calvin? Yes, Calvin.
He's coming.
Okay.
Of course, Mom, I'm right here and I'm listening.
Calvin,
and,
the people want to know how you dressed today.
How am I dressed today? I am extremely casual and I'm ready to cook some catfish. But I have my Luper T-shirt on and I have my CP catfish hat on. And I got a new apron that I'll be wearing today sometime. But then all of that will be happening here at the Great Oklahoma State Fair. And I have some more people here that we want to talk to right quick. And
Okay.
there's a young man next door that keeps my catfish jumping in different ways than I do. But this is a great, great, great exhibit next to us, Mom, here at the Great Oklahoma State Fair. And that's we're directly across from NASA. But the young man, Todd, of the Stereo Connection, is here. And they have two beautiful vehicles that they've gotten that are competition sound vehicles. And, I mean, you never heard anything like it. Hey, Iceman, what's happening? But you never heard anything like that in your life before.
Okay, but let me hear from
here's
Todd.
Todd right here. Todd, this is Mom. You know Mom. Just go ahead and tell them about what you think about our great catfish and our great gumbo and our French fries that you all love so well. Hold on, here's Todd, Mom.
Yes,
Hello
Todd.
there, Mama. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
You doing fine? Yes, yes. How are you?
I'm really fine. I want to know about your exhibit.
What we've got going on? We've got a couple cars. We got Precision Powers, one of their national show trucks down from Arizona here, and this thing's got it's estimated at about $80,000 worth of stereo equipment in it.
Wait,
And,
just a minute. $80,000.
$80,000 worth of labor and equipment in it. Oh, you'd have to see it to believe it. It's a prime example of what one person could do if he just had entirely too much money. And of course we've got our own personal show truck down here, which is it'll pound the ground, it'll get your catfish jumping.
Well, I want to see an $80,000 worth of equipment.
Well, you just come on by here, and I'll be glad to show it to you. I'll be more than glad to show it to you. It's not quite as hot as that gumbo, though. That gumbo is some warm stuff. You want to talk about clean those sinuses up?
Okay, Todd, thank you so very kindly, and certainly I've enjoyed being your neighbor for the past 2 years.
No, I have enjoyed being your neighbor, too. Here's old Calvin back to talk to you.
Come on, old Calvin.
So, Mom, you see, and those of you that are listening to us this morning, these are just two of the people that are closest to us. And here on Stagecoach Road, east of the State Fair Arena, west of the bungee jump, and directly across from NASA. But, our good friend Gary just walked up, and, the young man that was a victim.
And Gary brought me a picture, and Marilyn got jealous.
Right. Gary, a good friend of ours that we met at the fair, I think 5 years ago, has been working with us and is
Gary was in the bombing.
CP's catfish and Merlin's gumbo. I know we're running short on time, but I'm just gonna let Gary holler right quick, Mom, and just so he can tell everybody out there what he thinks about CP's catfish and Merlin's gumbo.
He's eating it every day. Gary, how are you? Huh?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, doing all right.
All right, Gary.
Yeah.
Huh? Yes, we keep saying hard to each other. Gary, you have been eating that catfish. What do you think about it?
Oh,
and that
it
gumbo?
is good. Oh, man, it fills you up.
How many times have you eaten at CP's this week?
Oh, I've ate up 5 or 6 times.
Good. And you will be there today?
Yeah, I'm here today.
Oh, well, I'm so proud of you. Well, thank you so very kindly, because as I look at the clock on the wall, I know in a few minutes, in the next 2 minutes, I'm going to have to say goodbye to you. And I'll see you, and I'm so glad you survived the bombing. And what happened to you in the bombing?
I fell off the ladder and went 11 foot down on top of my feet and messed my ankle up real bad.
But you survived.
Uh-huh.
And thank God you survived.
Yeah, I've survived.
Okay, well, thank you.
Uh-huh.
I know today my program is...
How you doing? And we're still here at the fair, and the people are coming in. But one of the most important exhibitors that ever has been at any state fair, especially here at the Oklahoma State Fair, beautiful young lady. Walked in, she's all decked out in her white, has a Miss Black Oklahoma T-shirt on.
Who is that, Marilyn? Let me say hello
Marilyn
to her.
Hilgert herself, the gumbo queen. Here you are, Marilyn. We're running out of time. Here's Mom.
Good morning. How are you this
Good morning. Marilyn, do you have the gumbo ready?
The gumbo is ready.
Okay,
ready,
so
waiting for your radio listening audience to come to the State Fair of Oklahoma and to try the best gumbo in Oklahoma.
I understand that you have a telephone they can call in for orders, 948-4148. Is that right?
Yes, you're absolutely right, and we have the orders ready when they get here.
Okay. Now, that telephone number again is what?
What is the telephone?
948
4148.
I really hate to say goodbye to all of you, but I'm going to have to say hello to all of you because I know you're coming out to the fair. You're not only going to pray for me today, but you're going to come out and give Merlin, Calvin, C.B. Wilson, and Ellis Hildred, who's working with that gumbo. Thank you, Ellis. And this is Clara Luper saying, whatever you do, stay out of trouble. I'm so sick of...
I'll see you at the State Fair.
I'll see you at the State Fair. And
Mom,
you all...
I know you're running out of time.
I'm running out of time. I
but,
got exactly
I love you, Jerry,
9
and I look forward
seconds.
to seeing all of you. There's so much I need to tell you, but then I'll see you.
But you can't tell all of it, but you can tell us goodbye. And I do love
Mom.
you. Bye-bye.
I'll see you later.
God bless you, Oklahoma City. You have just been listening to the Clara Luper Show. Remember, you can hear her every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Jesus is the Answer radio broadcast.
Oklahoma City.